Hey art friends, in this video I'm going to show you how to draw a really cool jack-o'-lantern. Now this lesson is a little more advanced, so it's meant for older artists, but still fun for everyone. We're going to take it one step at a time. Let's get started. I'm first using a dark gray colored pencil to draw the main shapes of our jack-o'-lantern. Then we're going to color with our Art for Kids Hub alcohol base markers, and I'm using our Canson marker paper that I love so much because it works really well with these markers. It allows us to layer and also blend. Also remember, you don't have to use the exact same art supplies, so you can use whatever you have and just follow along. Let's first draw the main shape of our pumpkin. You can change this shape also. You can make it taller or shorter, small or big. Let's start with a medium-sized pumpkin, and I'm gonna draw it kind of the traditional round, and I'm trying to go to close to the edge of the paper so that we can fill our paper and make our jack-o'-lantern really big. There we go. I like this shape. Don't worry about making these lines look perfect. It's okay if they're messy. This is just the basic shape. Then we're going to add details later. Next, let's draw a little bump right here in the middle. And we're going to make our jack-o'-lantern 3D. So this is the front of our pumpkin. We're going to draw those little bumps. We're going to draw another one that comes out. Oh, I went a little high. I'm going to go not as high this time. I'm going to draw it curving down to the side, and then we'll create that same ridge on the other side. Now these will go down and curve into the bottom, and if we want to, we can draw little guidelines that are going to help us later. So I'm not drawing all the way through because we're going to have the mouth and the eyes. Now right here, we're going to draw one more pumpkin ridge. I don't know what these are called, pumpkin bumps. I'm gonna draw this time coming up and then curving to the outside of the main shape that we first drew. Well, it's not exactly symmetrical, and that's okay. Pumpkins aren't perfectly symmetrical. I'm gonna draw this, though, coming down a little further so that it does match on the other side. Okay, now let's draw the stem. And we're going to draw it curving and curling up. We're going to curl right from this bump. We're going to come up, around, and then let's draw it curling into a spiral. Well, that looks really cool. Now let's do the same thing on the other side. We're going to start by curving out of our pumpkin. And I'm going to make it a little thicker through the stem and get really thin just at the end. Here we go. This looks really cool. I love the little curl and the spiral shape of the stem. Now we can draw the other bump, our other pumpkin bump that comes up behind the stem, and we can do that same thing over here. And maybe there's another little bump right here before it goes into the stem. So we have the stem coming up, little bump right behind the stem. And there's the basic shape of our pumpkin. Really simple. I hope you had fun changing your pumpkin too, maybe making it taller, or you could make it really skinny. Now let's draw the guidelines and the basic shapes for our face to make it into a jack-o'-lantern. Let's start by adding a little plus right here to help us with the center of our pumpkin. And then we're going to start from here to make the eyes. Let's start right next to this plus, and we're going to curve up to this curve that's coming through. And we can do the same thing on the other side. Curve up. We're going to make our jack-o'-lantern angry. And we're going to draw a curve coming down this way for the bottom of the eyes and coming into the top of the eye. And let's see if we can repeat that same shape on the other side. This is also a fun place to change your pumpkin or your jack-o'-lantern. You can change the eyes. Maybe they're round or they're happy. You can make them any way you want. Don't forget to sharpen your pencil if it gets dull. So this eye is a little bit smaller. Maybe that's okay. We'll just leave it like that. All right, now let's draw the nose. draw a skeleton nose or something similar to a skeleton nose. We're going to draw two ovals that are tipped in towards the middle. Now let's draw the mouth. I'm going to start with the center of the mouth, and I'm going to draw a tooth right in the middle. Now let's draw zigzags coming out. Let's see, let's go up to here. So really high next to the eye. That's where we're going to end our zigzags. I'm going to draw these coming up and then ending and curving into that guide point. Let's create another guide point over here. Let's draw those zigzags going up this way. And it's okay, don't make these symmetrical. It's okay if these are different from each other. We'll come up to that point. And then let's draw the bottom of the mouth too. Now the center, I'm going to draw the same letter V. So we're going to have two teeth in the middle instead of one in the center of the top one. So then let's draw these teeth coming up the same way and then connecting into that guide point. Oh, it's looking so cool. I love this pumpkin, this jack-o'-lantern. This is really fun and would be fun to do all over again and change how you draw the pumpkin. You can add a different face the next time you draw this. To make our jack-o'-lantern more 3D, we're going to add the depth to the pumpkin shell. We're going to start by drawing another curve inside of the eye that matches the outside. So if we were to cut into the pumpkin, this is the inside. Then we're going to do the same thing over here to match going the other direction. Then let's do the same thing to the teeth. So right here, let's draw a really small dimension to that shell. That's because we're looking more straight on to these teeth. Then as we come out further, we're going to make the teeth wider. Maybe this one goes all the way in like that. And this one could do the same thing, get really, maybe it's just all the way in. And we could do the same thing here and on these teeth. They're all coming into the center. Okay, let's do the same thing with the middle, except with these teeth, I'm going to draw the top coming in, and then we're going to add another small letter V right in the middle. Then let's do the same thing on these teeth. We'll come in and then down, same thing, in and down. So we're trying to match this line right here on the inside of the pumpkin. So we'll come in and then draw that same line. And I'm repeating the same steps all the way up the side of the pumpkin's mouth. Then we'll do the same on this side, except going the other direction. So this line matches this line. Come in, then match. Same thing, match. And then right here on the side of the mouth, you can't see it because it's the whole thing is connecting to the other side. Now our pumpkin looks 3D and we're ready to color it. What we're trying to do with this drawing is use contrast to make it look like the jack-o'-lantern is glowing from the inside. So the first thing we're doing is using all of our light colors. I'm starting with 26. This is a really bright or light yellow. And if you don't have the same marker set, but you have a different brand of alcohol-based markers, just pick a color that's similar to what I'm using. We're using this really pale yellow to color inside the pumpkin, or the part that's lit up. I'm going to color in between all of the teeth as well. Next, we're going to color the inside walls of the jack-o'-lantern's face. Next, we're going to use our 23 orange and 43 green to color in the rest of our pumpkin. This part will speed up, so remember to pause the video and take extra time to color in your drawings. Now we have our jack-o'-lantern all colored in solid. Let's add shading and highlights to make it have more contrast, or darks and lights, and to make it look more 3D. we're using this dark gray marker to add the shadow on our jack-o'-lantern. We're also going to be adding highlights by coloring in this dark shadow. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to come along the outside and just kind of create that same spiral shape for the stem that we created for the stem. And I'm going to come all the way in, and then we're going to come back out and get thicker and wider towards the bottom, or when we come into the stem. Then I'm going to color this in solid. Next, I'm switching to the fine tip so that we can add texture to the stem. I'm going to draw little ridges that come down from the spiral. Now see, just by adding one extra layer of dark gray on top of the stem, we made it look more 3D and even have texture. We can also use our white colored pencil to add stronger highlights. Then we can also use our black colored pencil to add even more contrast in the shadows. This is looking so awesome. I hope you're having a lot of fun following along with me. Now, just with our green marker, or dark gray, also a white colored pencil and a black, we've added really cool texture and shading to the stem. Now we're going to repeat that same technique for the rest of our pumpkin. I'm first using our warm gray, number 7, really dark gray, and we're going to go over the entire pumpkin, leaving the eyes, nose, and mouth bright. So we don't want to color over those because that's where the light's coming from. So this part will speed up, but at the end I'll talk more about what I did. Now that we have that second darker layer on our pumpkin, this is most of the shadows. We're going to use a colored pencil to blend the dark into the orange. I'm using a brown colored pencil. This is called burnt ochre. And we're going to start here and create that gradient into the highlight. So I'm pressing really hard in the shadow, and then as we get further away from the shadow, we get lighter. We press lighter until it blends out. Then we're going to do the same thing on each of the pumpkin bumps. Now let's switch to our white colored pencil and add highlights. Then we're going to switch to our black colored pencil and add more contrast and shading. We've really used our black colored pencil to darken in the shadows and add more contrast. Now that our pumpkin, it looks like it's at night and the light is shining through the face. Now we want to give the pumpkin more of a glow. We're going to use our orange colored pencil to color in the thickness of the shell. I'm going to color it lightly to color in this thickness. There's the first layer with our pencil. Then we're going to darken in as we get away from the center of the pumpkin. So as we get further away or to the outside of the pumpkin, I'm pressing harder so that the orange goes down thicker, and we've got this gradation from light to dark. Now with our yellow colored pencil, we can go in and smooth out that orange texture from the pencil. We can also use our brown colored pencil to come back in and add texture to the inside of this shell. Now let's repeat that same step for the other eye and also the nose and the teeth. This part will speed up, so remember to pause the video and take extra time to color yours. We're almost done. I'm doing a couple more things. I'm using my yellow colored pencil to add a gradation to the center of the very inside of our jack-o'-lantern. This is going to make the light look like it's glowing even more because this yellow colored pencil is slightly darker than the yellow marker that we used at the very beginning. So we've got this glow in the eyes. See how it's lighter right here towards the center? And then it has this darker yellow as it moves out. And then the same thing on the other side. We have this really bright white or yellow, and then we gradually get darker as we go out to the sides. Now the very last thing, we're using our black colored pencil to just sharpen some of the edges. And we did it. We finished drawing and coloring our jack-o'-lantern. It turned out awesome. And my favorite part about this lesson is contrast. We use darks and lights to make it look super interesting, scary, and 3D. We only used a few markers, our WG7, our dark gray, also our 23 orange, 26 yellow, and our 43 green. Then for our colored pencils, we use white, yellow, orange, brown, our dark gray to draw the main shapes, and then our black to add the dark shadows. And I hope you had a lot of fun following along with me and drawing a jack-o'-lantern, and I hope you took extra time to change your drawings. Remember, the most important thing is to have fun and practice, and we'll see you later, art friends. Goodbye.